Hello everyone, Trans here, and welcome to my build video. This one specifically is going to be for a Stamina Sorcerer in the non-CP campaign or Battlegrounds, although you could probably use this build in CP and it would be even stronger. It's called Spin to Win because that's the MO of the build. We are going to spin to win, combination of Steel Tornado and using our Hurricane. It does high damage, it's very bursty, but it's also tanky as well. So let's go over gear, champion points, and skills. So gear, we're using 5 hulking dragger. We're going to be using 3 jewelry here, all enchanted with weapon damage. And then we're going to be using 2 body pieces as well. We're going to be combining that with Spriggan's set. So then we're going to be using 3 Spriggan's body pieces and 2 Spriggan's axes. Then after that, we're going to be using Scoria, and I think Scoria is really strong on Stamina Sorc because it procs on Hurricane and also all of our bleed damage as well. It's very, very strong and also adds a little bit of max health, so it makes us even more tanky. Now we're going to be going 5-1-1 just for more max stats. That's really the 5-1-1 is what I normally go with. Mixture of Infused, Divines, and Impen. Try and get all Impen if you can. I just didn't have the specific traits for it. Now each specific set. So Hulking Dragger comes from Direfrost Keep, and you can either farm chests there or you can buy the necklaces from the Golden Vendor. And this Dreadlord's mark is a specific drop from one of the bosses in there, the Hulking Dragger Ring. Then Spriggan's is an overland set that you get from Bangarai, and you can farm dolmens there, chests, or the world bosses. Then Valken Scoria comes from City of Ash 2. Now I chose axes for more bleed damage, and specifically charge is a really, really good trait right now because it applies status effects, which is considered a bleed. It's very, very strong right now, so I would recommend going 1 charge and either 1 sharpen or Nirnhoned. Alright, let's go to our skills. So we're using on our dual wield bar Shrouded Daggers, Rending Slashes, Steel Tornado, Vigor, and then Bound Armaments. And this skill, Bound Armaments, is really strong because they changed it in Summerset patch. Now you only have to have it slotted to get the max stamina on 1 bar, whereas before you had to have it on both bars and it took up a lot of space. So great change, but it makes it even stronger, putting our BG non-champion point stamina at just over 40k. And I don't even have all of my jewelry and gear gold. That's with purple gear, so you could get it even higher if you want. Then we're using Dawnbreaker of Smiting. It's next to Incap, it's the best stamina ulti in the game because it does physical damage and it pairs really well with our bursty build. Then let's go to our 2-hand bar, so we're using Dark Deal. It's a great skill because it restores health and gives you stamina back based on Magicka. That's the only Magicka skill we use, so it makes sense to have it on a bar to get more stamina back. Then after that, we're going to Shuffle, and this is going to be our snare removal because we're not running Forward Momentum, we're running Rowley instead. So, because we have that many pieces of medium armor, it grants you immovabilization, and it removes snares as well. Then Hurricane, this is the bread and butter of Stam Sorc. It gives you major, minor, resolve, or not minor, major, resolve, and major ward, then minor expedition. Makes you faster, and it does damage, and it procs Scoria. You want to have this ability up at all times. It also procs the passive Implosion here, so if they get to low health, it's pretty much an execute combined with your Steel Tornado. Pairs really well with Steel Tornado. Then we've got Rally here, it gives our major brutality, and it's also our burst heal. It's a very, very strong heal, and it's also a hot going as well. Then we have Crit Surge, which is important because it gives us healing and tankiness, because for every critical strike you deal, you restore almost 3k health, and that's very, very strong paired with Rally. And then Rally again is Burst Heal and Vigor. So even though we're not really running a lot of defensive sets, we're very tanky on this build. And then Mundus Stone. So you see our stamina recovery is 1667, which is pretty high compared with the fact that we're using our Dark Deal as well. So we have a lot of stamina recovery with Dark Deal also. So we're doing that by running the Serpent Mundus. You could run the Warrior if you're more experienced with Stam Sorc and you don't need the extra stam recovery and you want that little bit more damage. You could use the Warrior instead. Then our food is going to be this new gold food, the Artaeum Takeaway Broth. You get that by fishing. You can also buy the crates that they come from from guild stores. The fishing satchels, I believe they're called, or Sigic satchels, if you do not want to go fishing for the recipe. But this one's very strong because it gives health recovery as well, and all the stats are just higher compared to the dubious Cameron Throne. Then the best race for this would be, I would recommend the race to be a red guard, and that's what I am here. It's very strong with all of the racial passives that we've got. So stam recovery, max stam, and then this adrenaline rush passive. It's been nerfed multiple times, but it's still very, very strong. Other races you could work well with are Wood Elf, Imperial, and then Khajiit would probably work well also. Then potions, we are using on this build immovable pots right here. So they're stamina, major expedition, and then immovable pots. Those are strong. You could also use a combination. You could use a couple different pots as well. And if you don't have the Artaeum, you could always use the dubious Cameron Throne. It's similar. It's just if you want to get that little bit extra bit out, you want to use the Artaeum. Then the immovable pots, it's the ones I'm using. These are good as well. They give you major vitality, and it's really strong in battlegrounds. And then finally, there's Essence of Speed, which I don't have here, but it has the Restore Health and then the Speed. Those are strong as well. But I find the immovability pots are great because of the stamina they restore also. So my playstyle is going to be, you want to get all of your buffs up, your 4 buffs here going. Then you're going to hit them with Shrouded Daggers, go in, proc some bleeds with light or heavy attacks. Then you're going to hit your Rending Slashes, and they should be pretty low health by then, so you can either do more Shrouded Daggers or Steel Tornadoes. And all the while you want to make sure your Hurricane is up. And then your Dawnbreaker hits really, really hard. Because of the stun, a Dawnbreaker into a Steel Tornado, they should be dead after that. So this build's going to be high damage, high mobility, and really good at kiting damage. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to like and subscribe if you want to enjoy more ESO content.